Hi, I'm Anthony Chapman and I'm a tutor here at Point Back Music School. I've got over 20 years industry experience as a producer, engineer, mixer and composer, working with the likes of Franz Ferdinand and Klaxons. And you're watching 9 Lives of Ableton. If you're new to making electronic music, these videos should give you an overview of how to get started using Live and an idea of what it's capable of. If you're experienced with other platforms but new to Live, you'll probably find these videos really useful as well. In the previous video, we created an instrument track containing 2 instruments and some audio effects, which gives us great flexibility in terms of tone shaping and performance. Another great advantage of Live racks are the macro controls, which are viewed by clicking on this button in the rack device. Macro controls can be mapped to any parameter of any instrument or plugin enclosed within the rack and offer a way to very quickly control the device without having to search for the parameter you want. Macro controls can also be mapped to multiple controls simultaneously, offering even more radical control options. So let's just try mapping some macro controls to the instruments we've got in this rack. So the first thing I'm going to do is click on the macro control map mode button here. And you can see it turns the available controls green. Now, the first thing I need to do is choose the control that I want to map. So I'm going to go down to the filter frequency here, and then I'm going to click map on macro 1. So now the macro 1 controls the filter frequency here. Okay. Now, what I want to do next is if I scroll along to the end of this chain, I want to control the dry and wet balance on the reverb that I've got at the end of the chain, and I'm going to map that to macro 2. Okay, now as I said before, macro controls can be mapped to multiple controls at once. So what I want to do here is I also want to map the filter frequency of the Sitz Clown instrument to the first control as well, and also what I'm going to do is I'm going to map the resonance of both to that same control. Okay, so now you'll see if I turn this knob, you see the filter frequency and resonance are moving, and then if I go down to the other instrument, it does there as well. But actually what I want to do is I want to set this up so that when I turn the frequency down, the resonance goes up to make it squeal a bit more. Okay, so the way I do this is I go up to my mappings here, which are visible whenever I turn the macro mappings button on, and what I want to do is the 2 that are for the filter resonance, these 2, I'm going to reverse the minimum and maximum values because I actually want them to go in the opposite direction to the cutoff. So I'm going to bring this one down there and I'm going to turn that one right up. I'm just doing rough values at the moment. I can tweak them later if I want. So now you'll see when I turn the cutoff down, the resonance goes up. Okay, so let's come out of the mapping mode, and then if I play this sound and then move some of the controls, okay, so there's our basic controls mapped. Now we've mapped some macro controls, let's record some automation into our clips. I'm going to use the session record button at the top of the window to tell Live when I want it to record my controller movements. So the first thing I'm going to do is make 2 copies of this clip, and I'm doing that by holding down Alt, clicking and dragging. And I'm going to play the second one. And then I'm going to enable the session record button, and then I'm going to move this macro here next time it comes round. So there you can see it's recorded my automation movements there, and I'm going to tweak the reverb dry and wet as well. Great, so now I turn off the session record and I've got some automation recorded there. I'm going to go to this last copy and I'm going to play this one. And I'm going to turn the session record on. So I just recorded a little movement on the pan there. Turn session record off. So you may be wondering, now I've recorded that automation, what would happen if I moved one of the controls that I've recorded? Now, Live handles this in quite a good way. If I play this clip again, and I'm going to try to interrupt this. Now you notice I've dragged that filter right down so we can hardly hear it. But if we look up at the top of the screen, this orange button has lit up. Now what is that? That is the re-enable automation button. And essentially that's telling us that we've moved one of the controls that already had automation recorded to it. So it's just letting us know that it's gone to the position we set the control to when we interrupted the automation, and it's just going to stay there, and we can control it manually as you would normally do if you hadn't recorded any automation. But if we want the automation to come back, we just click on that button and then it comes back. And that is brilliant for performing, not only performing live, but also for recording arrangements live. It means it's really easy to get in and mess with the automation. So, in this video we've seen how Live 9 offers sophisticated control and automation options for instruments and plugins. In the next video we're going to look at importing audio into the session view and how we can manipulate it using Live's advanced audio manipulation capabilities. Thanks and see you again soon.
At Point Blank Online, you've got two methods of interaction with your tutor. Firstly, you've got the weekly online masterclass, which is in real time. And then also we've got feedback on your assignments, and that's known as DVR. So the online masterclass is a 1-hour session you get with your tutor every week. You can ask questions about the lesson content and get instant feedback, and also demonstrations on the fly from their computer desktop with our streaming technology. DVR stands for Direct Video Response, and the concept is really simple. You upload your Ableton, Logic or Cubase project file to your tutor, he downloads it and then pushes record on the screen capturing software and evaluates your work, so basically giving you one-to-one feedback. You see all of the mouse movements and any parameter changes made by your tutor. It's kind of like sitting in the studio over their shoulder watching what they're doing whilst they work. We have found the DVR process has truly revolutionized the way that we teach online, and the results speak for themselves. Book your place on a course now by visiting pointblankonline.net.